we're going to be covering how to create custom component roads in Infraworks, and then how to add them to your assembly or your component library within the software. Excuse me. I took the liberty for time purposes to create a small model from Model Builder here. This is actually local for me. It's just a nice kind of access road from the interstate to the main street here. But I wanted to go ahead and utilize this portion because it's a nice straight shot. I do have what will be a subdivision road here. So we're going to go ahead and create a rural component assembly and then a urban component assembly. So the first thing you might want to do is take a look at the typical sections that are required for your project or the municipality that the project's going to be in. If you don't have any, you might want to take just a quick few minutes, sketch them up, get a general idea of widths and sidewalk, boulevards, widths, etc. That's going to help you out in the creation process going forward. Like I said, for today's example, we're going to build a two-lane rural assembly and a residential assembly with some curb and gutter, a boulevard sidewalk, and then we'll also add some street lights to that. Okay, so I'm going to start out by creating the concept components first, and then I'm going to incorporate them into the component road. My personal preference is to not create them on the fly and start off with the entire section of road. I usually like to do something about 50 to 100 feet long. That should be long enough in order to get a good enough sample for what the component road is going to do. And it allows me to keep my memory usage to a minimum when we know that Infraworks can get really bogged down a little bit with our components and the models that we're trying to create. Okay. If you would like to create a different custom folder for your assemblies than the default from Infraworks, before we start creating, we're going to need to go ahead and create a folder. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to go ahead and we'll open up our style palette, and we're going to find components. There it is right there. And I actually went in and created a custom folder. And in order to do that, you simply select the plus symbol, and it will go ahead and create a new catalog. And you can simply type in what you would like it to be. If you need to get rid of it, simply go ahead and click the delete, and it can be gone. Okay. Now, I don't have anything in there right now. I've moved mine or copied them. This is the one that I actually created. I wanted to have a custom folder underneath the assembly, so that's where I placed mine, at least for this example. Yours might vary. You might want to place it in something that more closely resembles your folder set up for your files, your DWGs, etc., and things of that nature. Okay. You'll notice that there are already assemblies created. You may want to take a look at them and see if one is close enough to your needs that you might be able to modify it and make the necessary changes. I'm going to actually build from scratch, because if you can build from scratch, you can make changes and edits. The principles at this point are going to be the same. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my small component road. So I'm going to click on the Create tab, and here is my component road, and I get the card for my component road. I can enter a name here. I can change the creation method, whether I just want to use PIs, so they would just be straight line tangents, or if I want element based, which means Infraworks will go ahead and put in tangents and curves as necessary. So I don't really have an assembly that I want to choose. I'm going to build from scratch, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at lane, just one simple lane for right now, okay? And I'm simply going to pick a location somewhere here because it's a nice, somewhat flat spot. And I'd like to make it, we'll go 75 feet in this case. All right. And we will pop it somewhere here. Okay. Now you can see it already generates my lane based upon my topography. Okay. I'm not too awfully concerned with that, but you can see here that it's lower than existing, and it's already showing my fill coming back up to the existing topo. Okay. Now we can come back and make these adjustments here, but what I want to do is start putting in my, excuse me, sorry for that. And that takes care of that. All right, I apologize for that brief inconvenience. Okay, I want to add 2 lanes. If you'll take a look, this road here is basically my 2-lane road. Okay, I probably got 2 12-foot lanes, pretty straightforward. I know because I've driven it. I've got a small shoulder of about 1 foot, if that, but we're going to put that in there. And then we tie back into existing. Okay, so once I have that all squared away, and that's why you want to take a look at your typical sections before you get started. Okay, so select your component. We're going to right click, and we want to insert another road component. And I don't know why it keeps putting that down there, because that's annoying as all get out. However, I'm going to select another lane. Now I can place it on either side. Okay, you can see the movement back and forth, so I can hover over a highlight and then just simply left mouse click to place. Okay, and you'll notice that I now have 2 lanes. Now I didn't make any adjustments to these. You can see that this lane is actually 11.81. We're going to make that a simple 12 and enter. And we can make any changes that we need to our slopes so that we get our proper information here. Okay. Probably want to go back here, select this one as well, 11.81. Can't even begin to tell you where they get that information from. So we want 12. Now you can also change your depth. And like I said, your slope, you can change your material. We're going to go with our asphalt for the time being. One thing hopefully you noticed was that when I add another lane, it gives me pavement markings. So if I want to make any changes to those, I'll simply zoom in, excuse me, select the marking, maybe. Okay. Let's double click that and see what we get here. It should allow us to actually change that marking. I'm not understanding why I'm not getting that. But we'll see what happens as we go forward. Okay. Let's delete this and start over. So we'll add another lane, we'll add a component. We'll put it on this side. Okay, we'll make sure that this is 12 feet. It's sloping away from the center at 2%, and that one is already all set. And for whatever reason, it does not like that. So what's going to happen is this. When you create your different lanes, you'll be able to select that pavement marking, okay? And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to right click, and then you're also going to be able to change, you'll select pavement markings, modify pavement markings, and a dialog box will come open. It will show you all of the pavement markings that are within this sample. You'll be able to change them from a center line to a single solid white to a double solid white. You'll also be able to change the color, for example. So you can do pretty much whatever you would like to do when it comes to your center markings. Your edge stripes are a little bit different. And because we're already having an issue here, we're going to see what we can do with that. But let's move this up just a little bit too. Okay, and you can see how grading is going to be. All right, so I want to go ahead and add a shoulder here. So again, we're just going to add or insert a road component. And I'm going to go and look for a shoulder. There's one right there. I'd like to place it on this side. Okay, it's going to go the full length of my sample in this case. I know that it's not really that large, somewhere around 1/2 foot. And again, we'll go at -2% away. So it drains off. Okay. We'll do the same over here. Insert road component, and we're going to add the same. And we'll also make this 1/2 foot. -2% away. Okay. Now we can also change the material here. Right now it looks like it's a concrete. Okay. Now what I'd like to do here is I'd actually like to add an edge line. Now, I did a little free work and created a FBX file in Format. If you have AutoCAD 2018 or earlier, you can create these types of objects in AutoCAD and directly export it to an FBX file, which is usable here in Infraworks. After 2019, however, Autodesk removed that functionality to export to an FBX directly. So you may want to check out Format, and we can cover that in another webinar if you would like. But what I did was I created additional objects, and I placed them in my 3D model. because they're considered decorations. I created a brand new folder, just like we did for custom, and I placed them in here. So I have an EOP white for my edge of pavement white or edge of pavement yellow. Now, in order to do this, you simply select the plus symbol down here at the bottom because we want to add a style. These are considered styles. We're going to select the plus symbol. Okay. And we want to find, in this case, our FBX. Okay, there's my white striping. Don't worry too much about the preview. Just say open. Your anchor point for these types of objects, excuse me, are going to be center 2D. Because if we don't do that, they tend to get lost, sometimes underneath the actual pavement. And I actually want them right here. Okay. So you can get an idea of what we're looking at. I just drew a simple stretch of striping, inform it, and exported it, and now I have this. Okay. So because I've already done that, we'll click on cancel. And I'm going to go ahead, select my component, and I'm going to place a decoration. And we're going to take a look at EOP, and that'll narrow it down for me. I know that there's a white edge stripe out here for my road. I'm going to select it. And then I want to place it right there. Oops. Okay. And I also want to place it right there. Now, depending on how it was created, you can see that I've got pretty much a mess out here. Okay. But we can take care of that. We're simply going to select the decoration, in this case, the striping. You can see that I have a start offset. Let's move this out of the way. Which means at the beginning of my sample, or station 0 + 0, 0, I can offset it from that and begin my decoration. I don't want to do that here. I'm going to set my spacing at 1, so I have a solid line. My horizontal offset means left or right of the information that I'm utilizing. Okay, I want it to be about a ½ a foot to the left. So we want to go in the negative direction. Left is negative. Okay, and that should shift it over. Now, the reason why we're seeing this is because we need to fix the rotation to 90 degrees. Okay, and we may need to go ahead and change the vertical offset. So this is kind of hit or miss. We just want it to be brought up so that we can see it. Okay. And I just threw this one together. It's not by any kind of DOT standards. So you may want to adjust the scale to get closer to matching our center line. Okay. Close enough. All right. So I now have a edge line, 1/2 of a foot inside my shoulder. You can change that, obviously, it does not matter. Okay. So what we can also do is this. If I select that linear decoration, if I right click, I can copy the attributes to my next selection. which in this case will be this set. Okay, so there we go. So it made the rotation, the thickness. The only thing I need to take a look at now, because it did it at -0.5, right? But what I need to do now is this. I need to shift it horizontally to a +0.5. We want to go on the right, bring it inside the road. Okay, and there we are. So for this example, we're pretty much squared away. I do want to take a look at my grading. Okay, we can choose whether we want a fixed slope and tell it what our grading limits are, or we can just give it a fixed width and it will go out and grade to that location. I'm going to go with fixed slope, and we want to come away pretty quickly here. So what we'll do is we'll go down. We'll say 2:1 will work. And you can select the arrows there, 2:1. And we want to go pretty darn quick because it's just a small road. So we'll go 5 feet. And we'll just hit enter. Okay, so based on where we are at now, I can go ahead and save this as a new assembly. So I'm going to select my assembly. I'm going to right click, and under road assembly, I want to say add to library. Now, we want to go ahead and select a station. It doesn't really matter where we select, but it allows us to pick a specific station if we choose. So we'll type in 30 feet. And it asks us to add to the library to please name this. So we'll just call it webinar 1 and click OK. All right, all set. So we can go ahead now and delete this if we choose. But let's take a look. We should find it in components. Under custom, there's webinar 1. That's the default location. If you would like to place it in your specific location, you're simply going to go ahead and select your style. You're going to click duplicate to another catalog. You will select your catalog. Click OK. It will move it and place it there. And in this case, mine is actually there, 2-lane rural. Okay. So now I want to create my component road because I have my assembly sample. So I'm going to go ahead and click on component road. I'm going to stay with PI based because I do not have any tangents at this location. And this is actually Park Avenue Road. Okay. My assembly will not be lane. It's going to be, in this case, I named it 2-lane rural with shoulder. We'll click our starting location. We'll move down to our end. We'll drop it in here somewhere, double click, and there we go. Okay. And that's pretty much what it looks like out there. All right, so we've got a very simple 2-lane rural road. What I'd like to do now is go ahead and take a look at creating my subdivision. Now, I already took care of that, so I've already got one to go by, but we're going to go ahead and make sure that we understand the process that we had before. So we're going to go ahead and We'll delete our stripes, our edge stripes, and we'll go ahead and delete our shoulders because we can use this same component sample. Okay, so again, we're going to have a 2-lane road. Okay, and we're going to begin to add our components. We want a curb and gutter. We want it on this side. We're all set. You can make changes in width, depth, etc. In this case, I'm just going to accept. The defaults, we're going to place it on that side. Okay, curb and gutter. So I happen to have a boulevard situation or an urban sidewalk situation here where I've got some grassed areas, and we'll have our sidewalk and then another grassed area, and then we'll end up tying back into our existing ground. So we'll continue the build, and you've got several parts to take a look at and utilize. Okay, the one that we want is slope grass median in this case. So we want it to be on this side, and we'll give it a width of, we'll say, 2 feet. All right, and we want this to be -2%. Keep flowing to the road. Okay, so far so good, right? Insert another component. In this case, we want our sidewalk. And you can type in and filter this down a little bit, but there's not too awfully many. So sidewalk's gonna be coming up here. There we go. We want it on the outside. And we're going to give it a width of 5 and slope of -2. Okay. Now it came up as this fancy tiled sidewalk. At any point, you can change the material to something more useful, something more accurate. Okay. Whatever you want to choose is fine, but I'm just going to go with something, say, light gray. Okay. It'll update, and you can see that there's my sidewalk. Okay. So lastly, we'll go ahead and we'll add the last little bit of grass. Right over here. And we'll make this, and we'll go 3. And again, we'll say -2. Okay. And we should be good. Right. Actually, we want these to be 2% because we wanted to go back to our road. So 2. Easy enough to fix. There we go. Right, that's what we want. Okay, so we'll come back and fix that, the grading. So let's finish the other side. Road component. Grass. Right there. Again, we'll make sure that we have our information correct. Okay, and get it right the first time. Road component. Find our sidewalk. Okay. And we'll insert a final little component. We won't worry about the material there. We know how to do that. Let's go slope grass on the back side. So 3, 2, and we should be all set. Okay, so I've got my urban 2-lane road ready to roll. So I think what I want to do though, before I go ahead and set up my assembly here, I'm going to change my grading and I'm going to come back out, we'll say 10 feet. We'll go 3-to-1. You can always come back and fix that. Okay. So there, right now, is my sample, which is fine. Now, I want to go ahead and add some street lights. Okay. So we're going to add a decoration again. And we're going to clear our filter and just go with what we have. And here's a light pole right here. Okay, so we'll say we're going to put in the red light pole. And I want to place it on either side. We're going to put it on the very outside place, outside edge of the sidewalk here. So we're going to place it right there. Okay, we want these to be fancy. All right. And we're going to do the same here. Now these will have to be rotated, obviously, in order to get what we would like. Okay. Now, this is where we're going to take a look at our spacing. So I've selected the components or the decorations on that right-hand side. Okay. I've got 3 feet of grassy area, so my horizontal offset, because I want them to be placed in the middle of my grassy area there, okay, it's going to be negative 1.5. We should see them shift over, which we do, okay? And I will start it at the beginning, but you could change your start offset here. We're going to leave that at 0, but I want to change the spacing to be whatever it works out to be municipality wise. Okay, so in this case, we'll say every 200 feet. All right. Now, because we don't have 200 feet here, we're not going to see only one lamp. Okay. Our scale's fine. Our rotation is fine. We'll make sure that our spacing here is going to be a little bit different. So we'll come back. We're good. Time to adjust this. Okay. Now, because I only have 75 feet and I want my spacing every 100 feet in the opposite sides of the road, we don't have that. So I'm just going to go ahead and my spacing, my offset start is going to be 75. Okay. And it's going to place it at the end. My normal spacing will be 200 feet. And again, I will not see it. My horizontal offset will not be negative. It will be 1.5. And you can see that it does make that change and places it in the proper location. All right. So I'm good to go with this one as well. So I'm going to select my sample, road assembly, add to library. We'll pick a good spot. That looks good. We'll click it. Our name will now be webinar 2. And we'll say OK. And it's going to go ahead and place it again in the component custom. I made a copy and deleted just like I did before. So mine is now here. Mine is called 2-lane subdivision. Okay. But let's take a look and see what the one is that we actually created on the fly. Okay. We don't need this anymore. We can delete it. And we'll go ahead and put in our component road. I'm going to go with element based because I wanted to put in a curve because I've got a curve going into this neighborhood back here. My assembly, we'll use webinar number 2. Okay. And we're going to select somewhere in this location here for start. Okay. Somewhere back in here looks good. We'll drop it somewhere right there. Double click. All right. There's our curb and gutter. There's our sidewalks, our 2-lane road, 2-lane entrance road. Okay. There's our street poles. You can do the same for fire hydrants. You can do the same for any decoration that you want or can add. Now, even though we're at this situation here, you can still change your material. For example, we'll change it so it matches. Okay. Now, the other thing that we can do here is this. Once we have this situation, we can make adjustments because we probably want a right-hand turn here. So all I did was select the quadrant that I wanted to change, and I can go ahead and add in my turn lane. Let's zoom up so I can get exactly what I want. Okay. And I want them on this though. Oops, hold on, chins. I got a mess. So we can pull this back so we can see our taper. We can also see what's going to be approximately 50 feet for now. We're going to drop it in. It automatically changes our sidewalk. It adds in our turn lane. We may want to do the same as far as an entrance. And again, just make the adjustment here. Okay. Now, if you would like, and you probably will want to use your custom assemblies in a different model and share them, you'll need to go ahead and share the folder. And you'll export this to a JSON file, .json, okay? And place it in a location that is available to whomever needs to utilize it. And what they will want to do in order to access it, they'll want to go ahead and select import an existing catalog, select that same JSON file and import it. They will then have the catalog available. They will then have the assemblies available, and you'll be ready to utilize those same assemblies in your new model. So if you happen to have a municipality that utilizes the same information over and over and over, you can take care of that. And then just continue to make your models. Add your trees, your buildings, etc. Okay. Any questions? I'll give you just a minute. Type if you need to. Otherwise, I'll give a few more seconds. Otherwise, Ashley, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Okay, well, thank you, Scott, for the presentation, and thank you all for attending today. If you do think of questions later on, you can simply reply to that confirmation or reminder email you receive from GoToWebinar. We can get those to Scott or your sales rep to get your questions answered. Once again, a short survey will pop up as we close down, and also a reminder that you will receive an email tomorrow, which will have a recording of the presentation today. And I don't see anything else coming in, so we'll go ahead and close it for today, but thank you all for attending and have a great day, everyone.